right, guys, we're back. Pre-workout, ready to roll, heading to the gym. I'm tired, guys. I am tired today. It's been a long day. We helped my brother move out today. Dude, I was up at 5:30 this morning moving furniture all day long till we got up there 7:30, 8 o'clock. We got done. Man, we got done back at the house 5 o'clock maybe. So it's currently 7:30. In a little late afternoon, nightish gym, evening gym. There was a time that I used to do that a lot. Used to go to the gym at nighttime a lot, like 8, 9 o'clock. You know, when I was a younger lad. I can't really do that much anymore. I do it. I'm doing it today. I was busy, but I used to love it. Not a huge fan of it. Yeah, guys, tired. To be honest with you, don't really feel like going to the gym, but we're going. These are the days that it matters the most. You know, my older brother's in med school. He's gonna be a doctor in about a year or so, and he tries to work out. And he's busy. He's busy studying. He's whooped classwork, everything. And man, there's plenty of days, man. We keep each other accountable. He'll text me like, man, I do not feel like going to the gym today. I'm like, hey, today's the day that it matters the most, right? Because it does. If you can prove to yourself that you can go and you can suffer through it on a day that you don't feel like going, you're tired, you're busy, whatever it is, then you can go on the easiest days, you know. And sometimes the hard days are the days that you having fun, you're doing something enjoyable, you're out with your buddies, you're out with your girlfriends, whatever. And those are the days that you don't want to go because you're just having fun, time's flying, you're not worried about it. And those days to me are the hardest. Days like this, I've been busy and stuff, but I know I got to get it done. I'm tired. Physically, I'm tired. Mentally, I want to go. The other way is kind of the other way around. Physically, you're good. It'd be great to go work out, but man, mentally, you're tied up. You don't want to leave the comfort. The bed is warm, as some will say. The bed is warm. You don't want to get up. You guys saw me a couple of days ago. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, getting up, getting ready to go to the gym. Man, those are hard days for me. I wake up. It takes a lot for me to not turn that alarm off, roll over and say, I'll just get up and go to work and I'll go to the gym after work or I'll figure it out, right? That's hard to do. And I've done that before and it didn't work out. So I kind of got, that was kind of my punishment. One day I think I rolled over and said, I'm just going to go back to sleep. Screw it. I'll go to the gym after work. I got up, got my stuff ready to go to the gym, went to work, had something happen, had to stay at work, couldn't make it to the gym. No way. Needless to say, I haven't done it since. Sometimes we need those things. We need those different kind, but we need those failures. And I think that's a good segue into kind of where I want to get at today. Failing, failure, people take it hard. I took it hard. It sucks. Nobody wants to fail at anything they do. Everybody wants to get it on the first go and be great at it, be amazing at it, and just bam, I'm great at it. Have that talent, have that natural ability. It's not how it works. For most people, anything that we do in life, guys, school, relationships, jobs, gym, business, whatever, you're going to fail. And that's important. And really and truly, that's what separates a lot of people. Excuse me, can you bounce back from failure? Can you bounce back? Can you separate yourself from the crowd? When everybody else says, I'm just going to stay in this comfortable job and work towards a retirement and all this stuff and draw a little bit of money because it's comfortable, it's easy, it's safe, and I'm not going to fail. Or you're going to take that leap out and say, hey, I want to do this thing and I'm not going to let failure stop me. It's hard. It's hard to it's hard to fall flat on your face, look stupid doing it, whatever, and get up and say, I'm going to try it again. You know, it's like riding a bicycle. We're all little, we all try to ride a bicycle. You know, some people you look at, they got on it, kids, no training wheels, they were killing it. You know, I wasn't that kid. I was the kid that had to have training wheels for a little bit, then, you know, take them off, and then I'm struggling and I'm falling and I'm face planting. Nobody's coming. And I'm face planting and, you know, I'm crying, my knees skid up, you know, I have to wear my helmet, my elbow pads, and all this crazy stuff because, you know, I keep falling, I keep failing. I can't do it. I can't ride a bicycle, you know, and that discourages you. And that discouraged me. And you can do a couple of things there. You can say, well, you know what? Screw it. I'm not meant to ride a bicycle. I'm not gonna ride a bicycle. Or you can say, hey, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna get back on this bicycle, and we're gonna make the most out of this. And I'm gonna make myself good enough to do this. You know, and that's important. We're faced with a lot of adversity in life, guys. You know, we all have different circumstances. We all have different places we grew up and things that we're doing. And it's very important that we don't let those things become our, you know, outward appearance. We don't let those things take over our lives and be who we are. You know, you got to be able to stand up, put your foot down, and say, hey, you know, I'm not amazing. I'm not great at this, and I'm going to fail, but I'm going to do it. And if all I ever do is fail, I'll at least try to do it, you know. And you guys heard this before, and you hear it a lot, you know. But it is important, and I think that it's been watered down a little bit because you hear it, you know, everywhere you go. You get on TikTok, you get on Instagram Reels, whatever you guys use, whatever you guys are doom scrolling on. But you see it, you hear it, people tell you it, and it's been watered down, you know. But it's true, you know. Is a failure is a good thing. It teaches you that you're not. It's a reality check that you're not the greatest, you're not the best, but you can work hard and you can get closer. You know, you can make that effort and you can try to be. And man, there's just so many times in my life, and this right here, this, you know, think about this journey in itself. I'm not, you know, I don't know how these videos are going to turn out. I hope they turn out good. I hope this is a great thing, and I hope it, you know, really helps me in my future endeavors and what I'm trying to do. And it might, and it might not. And either way, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's pretty easy to, man, I'm just not gonna record a video today. Man, I'm just gonna blow it off. That's pretty easy, you know. But only person you're hurting when you quit is yourself. It's the only person you're hurting, you know. And you got to be able to you got to be able to understand that we do these things and we put in this effort, you know, even through the hard things and through the tough and the adversity in life. We do these things for ourselves. And to be honest with you, I think lack of discipline and lack of bettering yourself and self improvement, and you know, not wanting to achieve those things and not caring about working on stuff. I honestly feel like, guys, is that it's more than just a I don't like it or I'm not good at a thing. I really feel like it's a lack of self love. I feel like people don't have that self love that, hey, you gotta do this for you, man. You gotta help yourself out here. You know, and not in a prideful way necessarily, but in a way of like, you do matter, you do have a purpose, you deserve to find out what your purpose is. And all those things are on the other side of failure. But if you only stay on this side and you're scared of it and you let it beat you up and you let it throw you in the ground, pretty hard to it's pretty hard to get to the other side of that and reap the benefits, you know. You know, this is a pretty good parable here. that hopefully you guys know. It's very important that you guys know this, but you know, it's every every good tree will bear good fruit. No bad tree will bear good fruit, and no good tree will bear bad fruit. And that's very important, guys. So when you're facing adversity and you're facing these things, you have to understand that you have to surpass that to bear the good fruit. You have to be rooted in your whys, like we talked about yesterday. You have to be rooted in that and have a good, full, fulfilling purpose around what you're doing to bear the results that you want to see. You know, if you're badly rooted and you're not really putting the effort in and you're letting the adversity and you're letting that failure stop you, you're never going to bear the results that you want to see. And people don't like, it's not, that's not a crazy concept, you know, that it really isn't. But people act like it is. People act like it's, you know, that you should be able to just kind of do whatever. And sometimes it happens. Maybe that's because we've made it. You look around and sometimes you see people that don't really, they just get really lucky and things work out for them. And that's cool and that's great. But that's not always us. You know, we have to remember that. And I have to remind myself of this sometimes is that, you know, I'm not these people that are super, you know, lucky and all this stuff. You know, you got to work for it. You got to put that effort in. And it's more meaningful that way, is the way I like to think of it. You know, I might be wrong about that, but I think it's more meaningful because it's me, it's mine. You know, if you've ever, you know, guys, you ever sit down and do something, you do a puzzle, you play a game, you finish it, whatever it is, start to end, you worked hard, you didn't cheat, you know, you weren't playing, ROM Emerald, you know, on Delta, on your phone, playing a little Pokemon, you know, you didn't do the hacks. You played the game completely, you beat it like you're supposed to. That's what it feels like. You know, when you face the adversity and you go through it, you know, if you just kind of get everything handed to you, it would be nice in a sense, but I feel like you wouldn't really appreciate it. And I feel like you would come to a point eventually where you're like, it's not really mine. It's not my work. And you gotta take pride in your work, but you can't let that failure beat you down. So guys, take the next couple of days, take this week. You know, when you're doing the little why thing that I asked you guys to do yesterday, and you know, look at this, and next time you're faced with adversity or failure, just try to stick it out. You know, you don't know what could be on the other side of that. It could be exactly what you want it to be. So guys, I encourage you guys, please stick it out, face a little bit of adversity, hit failure, keep on going. You know, when you're working out, you know, you go till failure. You know, sometimes you go rep and reserve or something like that, but you know, you want to go till failure, but you're trying as hard as you can until you can't do it anymore. You know, why don't we give that same kind of effort in our day-to-day lives, guys? Pre-workout, off topic here. Rise Godzilla, fantastic. I love it. People go back and forth, people and whatever. The heck we got going on up here? There's cars everywhere. You know, I love it, but having like a birthday party out here, awesome. I love it. A lot of people don't. Flavors are great. Flavor's great. The pump's great. I'm not sponsored, by the way. This is not a sponsored video at all. I am way too small and have like probably no viewers. That's okay. I'm just saying it's pretty good. So when you guys are watching me, if you're ever wondering what is the pre, it's Rise Godzilla. It's always gonna be Rise Godzilla. I messed around with a bunch of different pre-workouts. This is the one I like. It's just what I like. So yeah, guys, take some time this week. You know, we're gonna get through this. Figure out what you're rooted in. Figure out what your why is, what your purpose is, what your belief is. Get that rooted in. Face some adversity. Knock it down. Keep going. Achieve the things that you want to achieve. You'll feel much better, and you'll be way happier. You know, you got to learn how to love yourself a little bit and do things for yourself a little bit. not in a temporary pleasure kind of way or a superficial kind of way that like, oh yeah, this party or whatever. No, I'm talking about something real. I'm talking about something that builds on itself, something honorable, something that you can look back on in 20, 30 years and you're like, I'm proud that I did those things. I'm proud of that. It's not just gone. You have something that's tangible. Think about that this week. If you guys got any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know. We'll figure out what we got going on. If I'm saying something wrong, you guys don't like what I'm doing, give me some advice. Constructive criticism, please don't be mean about it, but constructive criticism. Let me know what's happening. I appreciate it, guys. See you guys tomorrow for leg day.